Good morning and welcome to the Mike Show for Thursday, May 21, 2026. 44 degrees at 8:03 a.m. and I am your host, Pat Kamal. And I am a sinner. I am powerless and my life is unmanageable. Humility and gratitude are the keys to life. Coke, can you look at the camera? My life is not my own. My will not be done. There's no reality but God. And the only thing we have to do is die. So how are we going to live today? And I hope and pray I can live from my heart a life based on faith and not fear. And today was another today that started really early. There's the princess. Fell asleep on Audie's bed in the living room, watching an old classic called The Night of the Generals. Oh, look, there's Ruthie. Ruthie, did you go see Uncle Max? Where's Gracie at? Gracie! Oh, boy. And woke just after 3 a.m. And I had all the girls and Else with me. My fairy tale princess Elsie. There's that Coke again. And anyway, I said some prayers and read what passes for news. And ate my gruel around 3:30 or 3:45. And laid back down about 4:30 and kind of dozed off till about 7:15 or so. Got up, regrouped, let everyone out. Everyone did go out this morning. Maxie threw up again today. It was a little pink, so he's probably got something irritating his throat. It's not, like a serious kind of thing, or like if there's real dark red and chunks of blood in it, that's not a good thing. This just appears to be his throat being irritated, but we're going to monitor that, and we'll probably take him to the vet if it happens again. Got to take care of my Bubba. Him and me alone here with all these women in this house. We're outnumbered. I need all the help we can get. So anyway, I get Coke. I gotta say, the girls were real good about being outside today. They stuck around. Coke did go across to one of the neighbors, and Gracie was sitting in another neighbor's yard just watching her. But when I went over and found where Coke was and called her back, she came home to me. And she's starting to do that sometimes. Respond to her name and knows when I call her, she should come home. And then once I got them back over here, they fairly well stayed in the backyard or underneath the spruce tree, or at least in an area where I knew they weren't going to get whacked. So anyway, let's get into yesterday. Yesterday's thumbnail was a shot of Mikey, as was the shot the day before. It was before we replaced the windows yesterday, and he climbed up that window right there, the screen that was on there. The day before, it was when he was still just a little baby. And he always was my baby, and boy do I miss him. Yesterday morning when I was, just kind of half dozed and laying, I heard this click, click, click patter on the hardwood floor out there. And it sounded just like Mikey's footprints, because they all have their distinct clatter and tone and pace, or whatever you want to call it, when they're walking. Sammy, I could tell whenever he came up the stairs, because his was kind of like this. It had that kind of beat to it. And Mikey's was but you could hear his little nails clacking on the wood. And whoever did that yesterday morning, it reminded me of him. And it's hard to believe that June 24th, it'll be 2 years since we lost him. And it's going to be, June 23rd will be Chiefy we lost in 2007. Simple math, that's 19 years ago. We're coming up on, I think, 16 years of losing Tony. And what about Gabby? Gabby was almost to the day 2 years later, 2012, we lost Gabby in late May. So anyway, but Mikey, I loved him and missed him so much, and he was such a handsome little fellow, and he had such a sweet, squeaky little voice. Chloe kind of has his voice, as did her namesake and auntie, Chloe number 1. They have the same squeaky little voice. And Mikey and Chloe number 1, they were pretty tight. My Mikey was a good boy, and oh boy, I guess I'm not gonna say any more about him right now. But that was part of the reason. There was a couple of factors involved in us not sitting outside having coffee anymore, no matter how cold it was, as long as it was dry. But I still sometimes, when I sit down there or look out in the street, I can still see where his body laying there. And with that, we're going to take a little break. Welcome back. And I don't really mean that. And I didn't mean it when I said good morning either. So yesterday, I had mentioned I might be mowing the lawn, but well, look, there's Uncle Max. Necky, how are you, bub? How are you? Where's Gracie? Is she upstairs or is she back down here finally? There's Gracie. Gracie! 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 How are you, Bubba? How are you, good girl? You were a good girl outside. Yes, you were. And so were you, Ruthie. Oh, boy. So instead of mowing the lawn yesterday, another thing that had been on my list was cleaning out all the leaves underneath the spirea out there between all the where they gather. I don't know what the heck you call it, but I got them cleaned out, loaded up, and hauled that to DPW. And all that crawling around in there, pulling those out with my hands and raking kind of did me ends as far as doing that, my lower back. So I didn't end up mowing the lawn. And I don't know, around 11 o'clock, because it was an early start for us yesterday, I just ran out of gas, and I went up and laid down till about 2:30. Got a call in the afternoon from my tax man, and he said my taxes were ready, and I had planned on going and picking them up today, but wasn't a good day for him, and I was still pretty tired at that point, even having after having an afternoon cup of coffee. I thought, no, I'll go get them now. I'm getting a bit back from the feds, but I owe the state a pile, and it gets worse every year. This is not a very tax-friendly state, that's for sure. Got to pay for all the grifting and deadbeats. Anyway, but I'm grateful that I can pay my taxes, and another news too. Water rates going up every year. For years and years they were stable, and then they conned us into buying these digital water meters, and it's done nothing but gone up every year. And I've done my usual rants on it, but for some reason this didn't bother me too bad this year. Like I said, I can afford it. It is the way it is. They're going to grift every dime out of you they can. And, yeah, but what was I going to say? One of my main complaints is I know it costs money to clean water, purify it and all that. And the sewage, the same thing. But the main ingredient doesn't cost a dime. We're sitting on, one of the top 10 largest freshwater lakes in the world. So the main ingredient doesn't cost them a dime. And when the city itself ran it with city employees, these rates, they stayed stable for years, they never went up. But once they contracted to an out-of-state, once again, an out-of-state company, the rates do nothing but go up every year. So, anyway, that's enough of that. What else did we do yesterday, honeys? Did 100 push-ups, read to the cats. Oh, boy. It was a nice day, fairly nice. It was a bit breezy. It reached almost 60, but it was just about like this. Today we're only looking at a high of 49. The forget-me-nots are blooming. So spring is well on its way here, finally. So far today, let's take a little break again. And we are back again, sitting here with Mackie. Oh, Max, my bubby. And there's Ruthie. Coke. I don't know where Coke went. Oh, there's Coke. Oh, Coke, you all right? You going to use the noogie boxes? You can't figure out why I put them over there. Hey, where you going, Max? Come on back. I'm going to be cleaning that floor. I'm going to vacuum and clean that floor today. And as far as my program of work some, play some, think some, read some, and do a little nothing every day, etc. Probably get a few miles in on a bicycle doing errands. And who knows after that what we're going to do. Had a conversation with my neighbors across the street yesterday. They actually own their house and their son was living in it. And to the 8 billion of you who may not have tuned in years ago or other times when I've talked about them, there's one of the people that lives on this block I refer to as creepy because he walks around staring in everybody's window and bends over backwards to crane his neck and look over his shoulder to see if you're in your yard minding your own business. And I have not liked this man since the day we met. He's got me mixed up with some whole other body. And I've been a half an inch away from telling him right where to go many times. But I don't. But I decided after talking with the neighbors yesterday that if it happens, if the opportunity presents itself again, I am going to tell him what's been on my mind for quite a while. But they said their son had a confrontation with him. He was over there skulking around like he does, said he was just going to get his dog when his dog's right beside him on a leash. And anyway, he believes his own bullshit. But my neighbor Mel, she said he creeps her out. And her daughter-in-law, she just didn't even want to be outside when the guy was out there. And so, I told him my experiences with him. Told him how I used to sit at the bottom of the steps having coffee in the morning. I mentioned part of the reason I quit doing it because Mikey was killed, but another large part, probably larger than Mikey being killed, it's hard to say. But this guy would just gawk and gawp at you when you're sitting there. And even like right now, if I had that inside door open right there and he was walking by, he'd stare into here. So when I moved to starting to have coffee in the backyard out there, sitting out there, he changed the pattern where he walks his dog. And instead of walking around the block, he started walking down the alley out there. And the guy has been canned a couple times. It was in the public paper, in the Alpena News, that he got fired from jobs for sexual harassment. So there's definitely something there. And anyway, we had that conversation. What else did I want to mention? I don't know. I have no idea. Oh, I did finish. I've gone through 3 of my kettlebell workouts that I do. There's 4 different things that I do when I do these routines. And I've got a mixture of many I can pull off from videos I've watched on the internet. But I got three sets of 4 different lifts in so far. I might do a 4th one, and then I got a 5th one I do for arms and shoulders with my lighter weight bell. But that's all in the that's all in the plan for today, and we're going to make the rest up as we go along. I'm hoping the conjurers are wrong, and it's going to get warmer than 49 degrees today. But I think that's all we got for now. So from the cold gray ashes and coals of my cold black heart, my broken, beaten, battered, bruised, bloody, burdened, empty, hollow, cracked, shattered, hopeless, forsaken, forlorn, bitter, angry, tired, resentful, twisted, convoluted, confused, grieving, happy, ungrateful soul, piss off, happy, no complaint Thursday, and thanks for not tuning in.